Good morning and thanks for joining us for our live coverage of this first Rugby League Ashes Test to be played between the touring Australian Kangaroos and the home side, the Great Britain Lions. It's been 7 years since the Roos last toured the old Dart. This tour was in doubt, but we're delighted that 21 Australian players have made the journey to try and continue the superiority they've enjoyed in England over the last 42 years. Also in studio this morning, a man looking forward to a competitive three-test series is Phil Gould. Good to see you, Gus. What are your thoughts leading into this one?
Yeah, not an easy assignment for the Australians, Peter. Only arrived in England on Tuesday. From all reports, their training has been inhibited by cold and wet conditions. So they're going to have to rely on their class and experience to get through this one. If they are vulnerable in this test series, it could be in game one. They've lost game one before. But as I say, enough class and experience here for the Australians to overcome that obstacle. Well,
here we see them taking the field at the McAlpine Stadium in Huddersfield, actually the home of Rugby League, the birthplace of Rugby League. And quite a good crowd in fairly cool conditions, as you would imagine in November in the old Dart. And a new look side to some degree for this Great Britain team. The wildcard, Phil, could be the coach, the former NRL coach, David Waite, now the boss.
He certainly is, and he's made some changes prior to kick-off. You'll see with the team cards when they come up shortly. He's moved his hooker to halfback, and off the bench comes Mike Forshaw into the hooking position. The young rookie halfback has been put back to the bench. David Waite, maybe a few things in store for the Australians.
Well, time for us now to go to the north of England. Your pictures are courtesy of Sky Sports. Commentators are Eddie Hemmings and Mike Stevenson.
Well, while the presentations to the official party takes place, we will check out the way the two sides line up. And Great Britain coach David Waite has sprung one or two late positional changes. Radlinski is the fullback, Price is on the wing, Connolly and Senior now in the centre. Senior was named on the wing, he moves into the centres. Johnson, who was named on the wing on the centres, moves out to the wing. At half-back it's Paul Sculthorpe and Kevin Sinfield. He was to play hooker, he now plays at scrum half. And the forwards, Terry O'Connor, Mike Forshaw playing hooker for the first time in his career. As you can see from his number 15, he was due to start on the bench. It's Barry McDermott who completes the front row. Chris Joint, Jamie Peacock is the second row, and Andrew Farrell is the captain and loose forward. And how Great Britain hope that Farrell will fire today. On the bench, young Richard Horne, Wellens, Anderson and Fielden, and the coach is David Waite. Now the Australians, the world champions, who have journeyed 12,000 miles to be here. No problems for them. Lockyer at fullback, Takiri, Gidley, Lyon and McDougall, Barrett and Johns at halfback. And the forwards, Stevens, Baduras and Kearns, Carlaw, Kennedy and Fittler the captain. And then on the bench, Anasta, Vella, Sivanasiva and Jason Riles. Coach is Chris Anderson. Philip Clark there, the British manager, usually of course on the Sky Sports team. And what a day for Robert Connolly, the match referee. Already under pressure in the newspapers from the Australians, saying he hopes, or the Australian coach saying he hopes there'll be no shenanigans, there'll be no foul play. And Robert Connolly is probably on the spotlight as much as the players themselves. Well, of course, this is the 11th day of the 11th month, and we are now about to observe a minute's silence in memory of all those who have fallen in conflict around the world over the years, and in many ways all the more poignant this year after the events of September the 11th and the war on terrorism that continues and almost caused the cancellation of this series.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain upstanding for the national anthems of Australia.
So now we have the national anthems of the two nations to be sung here today by Chris Fennessy, who's appearing in the West End stage production of Les Miserables. And Chris Fennessy will now sing the two national anthems. Australia first. Their last defeat against New Zealand in 1998. A nation holds its breath and expects. But Great Britain have not beaten Australia in a series since 1970. Frank Myler was the captain down under, the great Frank Myler, and they haven't beaten them on home soil since 1959. 42 years. Jeff Stevenson was the captain, the York and former Leeds halfback. Robert Connolly, the match referee. Steve-O, we talk about pressure of Test match football. This fellow is under as much pressure as anyone.
Yeah, and I think he'll handle it. He's experienced, but this is the moment where a lot of the Great Britain guys have to stand up and be counted, especially that fella there, Kevin Singfield, was selected as a hooker, has been switched late by the Great Britain coach, David Waite, into the half-back position. I think he's done the right thing. He's left young Horn on the bench. We say to all many 10 times, Eddie, this is where you've got to get into the Australians' face and you've got to peel the skin back.
Radlinski takes the kick-off on the fall, flies the ball forward about 12 metres, plays the ball quickly to Mike Forshaw, playing at hooker today for the very first time in his career. A bit of a gamble, really, by coach David Waite. Australia thundering into the challenge on Terry O'Connor, and leading the way, Jason Stevens. And here now is Barry McDermott. Barry McDermott, who has waited and waited for this opportunity, said in a tri-series when last he played, he let himself down. He won't be hoping to let himself down today. Booming kick downfield from Andy Farrell, and Takiri has the ball in hand, first time for Australia. And Great Britain there in numbers, leading the way. Jamie Peacock, also there was Paul Sculthorpe. Now it is with Jamie Lyon. Good tackling from Britain early, and it has to be.
It was a good kick and chase there, and it was interesting to know that they are going to target Takiri. They obviously feel that he has a problem with the high kick. And that look forward, as you can hear the crowd trying to convince Robert Connolly, the official out there, that's not a good charge.
It's charged down and a chance here, and Connolly has swooped on it, and Connolly tipped the ball inside, and Peacock scores! Peacock scores for Great Britain! What a start for the Lions! Jamie Peacock with the try! Wonderful charge down! The kick
what's the best pass, and you can see there, ricocheted off Jamie Peacock, who comes up with a 4 point. But look how well Connolly did. Kept his nerve, Peacock took the ball, and the wonderful start that Great Britain needed. How cool was that from Gary Connolly? Quick thinking from Peacock, the man who charged the kick down. Darren Lockyer is looking on with no hope whatsoever. A poor kick, and this man has set McAlpine alight.
Well, he knows his way to the try line, does Jamie Peacock. He was the man who charged the ball down as Lockyer took his time in clearing his lines. And he was there in the end to finish it off. A dream start for the British. And Andrew Farrell now to add the extras. No problems from the Great Britain captain. And Britain have a 6-point lead.
But a lot of these players have not played for some considerable time.
Kick drifts over the top from Farrell and is collected by Lockyer. Very good chase as well from the kick. It was led by Kevin Sinfield. For so long, Great Britain have been dubbed second-raters by the Aussies, and this team of individuals playing in the red, white and blue today are determined that in this series they will not be rated as no-hopers ever again. Well, we will wait and see as Jason Stevens drives the ball in over the top of Peacock, and Peacock a bit groggy as he makes his way back into the defensive line.
Oh, bit of a stamp there from Stevens. Surely that must have been seen by the touch judge, kicking to touch. Well, how on earth did the touch judge miss that? Even Andrew Johns has a big smile on his face. Look at this. That is absolutely disgraceful. He should be sent from the field of play, no doubt about it. We know that the rules state that you must lean away, but that is just sheer maliciousness.
Well, the referee has had the report from the touch judge.
Well, it's a long time coming. Surely he's got to go.
The judge has come on to put a report on, right? I'm going to put this into a report. We're going to calm down. Take it easy, no penalty. Put on the report. We're going over here.
Well, Chris Anderson must have been breathing a bit hard, and that goes on report, and Jason Stevens might be in trouble when the disciplinary committee meets to discuss that.
Well, we knew it was going to be tough, and it always has to be when you talk about Test series. But that was just absolutely disgraceful. David Wade, he just can't believe that the Australians aren't one man missing. They should be down to 12. I've been around a long time, Eddie. That was just, well, it was done with so much maliciousness. He should not be out there on that field.
It was interesting that in the pre-match build-up to this, it was the Australians who were a little bit concerned about dirty play.
That was disgraceful. No excuse for it. I was just about to say, look, when you've done the tackle, you've got to move away from that situation. But he just deliberately stamped on him. Well, he knew his head was there, don't worry.
After that little altercation and that little tirade from Mr. Stevenson, welcome to our friends in Australia who are watching this match with us live on Channel 9 down under. And you'll be able to take issue with Steve-O's views when he returns home early in December.
Talking about putting your views there, Robbie Kearns, McDermott went after him. There was a real old tussle in back play. That's not the best kick, though, from the skipper. But look how eager these Great Britain boys are. They're getting out of the blocks, and they're giving them some. That's what you need. Make them feel that there's somebody out there, and boy, oh boy, they're doing that. They are taking it to the green and gold.
Gidley to his feet. Here come the Australians again, but great defence so far from Great Britain. And now it's that man, Jason Stevens. A darting little run up the middle, and every time he gets the ball now, I think we'll hear the boos ringing round this McAlpine Stadium. This is Barrett. That's a beautiful ball out to Lyon out on this left-hand side. Leon Price gets to him. Oh, misses him. The ball is turned inside to Lockyer. There's a hole here for Lockyer. Radlinski standing. Ball bounces. Play on, is it? Yes, it must be back to six. This now is Ben Kennedy. And for a moment, Great Britain are rocking. And Kennedy is right in front of the British post. 6 to go. Medeiros off the ground. Johns spins, but, well, what a test this is now of the British defence.
Good work there by Joint. Make sure that he couldn't offload.
It's out wide. Well defence. Terrific defence there from Paul Johnson.
Wonderful. Gave him the opportunity to go out wide. And he got to him with the whitewash. There it is. definitely foot hit the line before he grounded the ball. N-O-T-R-Y, that's for sure. Well, this defence from Great Britain is outstanding.
Well, Paul Johnson with the tackle, forcing the winger McDougall into touch. The touch judge is on, and he wants the referee to have a word with the prop forwards, Robbie Kearns and Barry McDermott. And they've had a little warning, the two big men, and there they are locking horns in the front row of that scrum.
Well, he made it quite clear in the build-up to this game in the press. Barry McDermott said, they think we're soft. Well, you'll soon find out. I'm going to give them some. And he is.
Great Britain with Radlinski just over the 20-metre line. Connolly is the dummy half for Britain, taking it on to Badiris, and also there was Dane Carlaw.
Important aspect of the game for Great Britain, and up to now Forshaw is doing a fine job in an unaccustomed role at hooker, never played there before, and neither has Kevin Sinfield. I don't think he's played at scrum half position at top level, so it's a big ask from their coach David Wade.
Angled kick from Andy Farrell, that ball bounces off the chest of Takiri, and the referee says play on, no knock on, it came off his chest.
He got it right with the official. He took his time about it, but it did come off the chest. Well, we said that Great Britain probably would find out whether Takiri can handle the pressure. That's the second kick, and he looked a little bit uncomfortable there.
Gidley grounded by 3, just inside his own half of the field, plays the ball, and here now comes the big figure of Ben Kennedy, but Joint is there, and so too is O'Connor to haul him down. Just over the halfway line now, Badiris off the ground, and he finds his captain, Fittler, and Fittler finds Mike Forshaw, a formidable opponent, and Barry McDermott. The little kick through was by Trent Barrett, and it's too deep. No danger there for Paul Johnson to worry about.
But good defence there again. See them lining up, putting a bit of pressure on the kicker. And you've got to do that for the full 80 minutes. Australia, of course, they're finding it difficult to get into any sort of pattern, mainly due to the fact that Britain are getting out of the block so quick. Back mistake has been dragged away.
It was stolen.
Robbie Kearns was it pulled away, and I think it was Badiris that the culprit. Keep the momentum on. Chris Anderson, he's been around, he's been under pressure many times before. He knows the capabilities of his side.
A 1978 and 1982 Kangaroo tourist himself, a Challenge Cup winner at Widnes in 75, a champion and a cup winner as a player coach with Halifax 86-87.
The big question that Anderson will be asking himself, and no doubt getting the message out, they can't afford to lock horns with this Great Britain pack. They know they've got the ability and the speed out wide. They've got the edge there in the 3 quarters.
Well, Terry O'Connor is in the blood bin. That could be a legacy of the foot in the face by Jason Stevens. This, meanwhile, is Barry McDermott. And the news of O'Connor is he's got a bad cut on his chin. And that's Senior who almost broke through. He wants to get on with it. And Badiris wouldn't let him, but this now is Joint.
Good work yet again, runs from dummy half. That applies the pressure. It also makes sure that the Australian first and second markers have to work hard. That's how you tire the opposition out.
4 tackles gone. Connolly to his feet. Sculthorpe the dummy half. Here now is the man who's on out of the bench for O'Connor. It's Stuart Fielden.
Is it a field goal? Maybe they will. Yes, it's good tactics.
It's gone to Sculthorpe. Oh, he slices it though. The ball doesn't go over the field of play.
This is no Sunday afternoon picnic. It is a test match, I can assure you.
And Lockyer knows he's been in a match already. And so does Lottie Takiri.
And he knows there's going to be plenty. This is the attempted drop goal. It bounces all over, and you can see what on earth was he trying to do. I really think that Sculthorpe got an edge to that. Either way, Sculthorpe says, get over that line. Look at Price. They've been feeding them raw meat.
It was a very shallow drop out from under the post, just 10 metres, and that's why the Aussies have it here with Jason Stevens. That was great thinking.
Pretty slow on our point, though. We really should have had someone there. Either way, Britain will not be complaining. They're down deep in their own half.
They're expecting the big hoof downfield, but Australia had a little different tactic in mind there, and it came off for them. This is Robbie Kearns. Robbie Kearns plays the ball. This is Dane Carlaw.
Well, I must say, Great Britain are getting away with a very shallow 10. Robert Connolly's taking him back the required distance as far as he's concerned.
High hanging kick, oh, and it bounces, and Radlinski in the end does well. He was taken out though in mid-air, and he's hurt. Lyon and then Takiri dropped on him like a pack of Fijian bricks.
Well, it's not often you see Chris Radlinski let the ball bounce. Whether he was unsighted, remember the lights here are very, very high. Well, I just get the impression maybe Radlinski missed it the first time. He got to it the second.
It was Johns with the bomb, and it was Johns with a little short grubber kick from the dropout as well. So Andrew Johns, best player in the world, a man who's never faced the British before. He's already had one or two things to say in this test match, which is 14 minutes old and which Great Britain lead by 6 points to 0, and they're in possession here with Sculthorpe.
Again we see quick play the balls, making that ground. We're getting over the advantage line pretty easy. That must be something that Chris Anderson, the Aussie coach, will be concerned about.
Here's Sinfield. It's now with Chris Joynt, who's lost his footing at the vital moment. It's the last tackle here for Great Britain. It's back with Farrell. It was round his bootlaces. It's a good high crossfield kick. Another tester for Takiri. And he has dropped it again. But he's got away with it. And Fittler has swept up the damage for Australia.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if Chris Anderson is thinking about replacing Takiri, and that looked forward to mine. The official, it came off and that looked forward.
Well, if it did come off Takiri, it could have been forward, certainly. Maybe the touch judge's signal, I didn't see it, but maybe the touch judge's signal was that it came off a British arm. But it's great defence from Great Britain, this.
They're hunting as a pack. Look at that. Get into it. Stevens took his eye off the ball there.
And Great Britain looking to shift it wide, and Senior gets away and flings the ball into the arms of Johnson, and Johnson just couldn't take it in.
Trent Barrett was caught on that blind side. This is a hit. Stevens loses the football. Sculthorpe scoops it away pretty quickly. Senior did ever so well. McDougall had come off the sideline, and there was an opportunity there. A missed golden opportunity for Johnson.
So Hedenfield at the scrum to the Australians, and possession now in the shape of Matthew Gidley. Just over halfway line. Farrell over the top of him with Sculthorpe. And here comes the big man again. It's Robbie Kearns from the Melbourne Storm, the oldest man in the squad. Robbie Kearns, he turns 30 next week. Badiris is the dummy half. This is Dane Carlaw. And Great Britain hunting in 2s and 3s to pull the ball carrier down. Now then, Johns, danger when he gets it. Here is Lockyer. Ball out in the bounce, but in front of Adam McDougall, and it only finds its way into touch.
But all at sea. It was an on-off tour, wasn't it? And they only arrived on Tuesday. I thought that was rather strange. Didn't give them a lot of time to get over jet lag, etc. And they are certainly not clicking into gear as yet. Anderson knows it too, but he also knows what they are capable of.
That's a nice step from Senior, and a bit of broken ground for Senior to attack, but they come quickly back. Lockyer there, and also the skipper. Now then, here's the British skipper who gives it to his Wigan teammate Gary Connolly, who gets away from one. Good jinking run, good hands, great hands, and it's McFieldin. So they're testing this Australian defence.
Good basic football as well, drawing the man, then offloading. But it's the ability to switch to play that's created a problem for that came off penalty. That could be back to 6. No. They said it went back.
He didn't play it. Matthew Gidley didn't play it, it says the referee Robert Connolly. So here now is Farrell. The tackle count will continue, and Australia have got it back.
Silly play there by Farrell, trying to offload in a virtually impossible situation when really they should have been looking towards having a kick and applying the pressure, and David Waite knows it too.
Little shake of the head from David Waite. This is Lottie Takiri, Brisbane Broncos winger. Also 3 caps for Fiji. Now then, it's with Ben Kennedy. Immaculate this year, Kennedy, in the NRL. Badiris, the dummy half. It's with Johns. Big collision. Connolly as strong as they come, and that was a forward, Dane Fowler, who felt the full weight of Gary Connolly's tackling. Takiri's the dummy half. Here's Jason Stevens. Look at that forward. Referee looks very carefully at each touch, judge. No, they say. So it's the last tackle. And it's with Johns, a lovely dab through. Looking for Barrett. Well swept up by Radlitsky. And he launched the attack with Radlitsky. Great Britain got men in numbers here. Sinfield.
Tried to get it away to Johnson.
Johnson, my apologies.
Oh, golden opportunity to make the break. Superb running from the fullback Radlitsky. But full credit to the Australians, they got back pretty quickly. They had to.
Well, for a moment it looked like the line was gaping, but Paul Johnson just trying to get the ball away in an impossible situation. This is Badiris now for Australia. Danny Badiris of the Newcastle Knights. On it goes then to Trent Barrett. Barrett then looks for support. It's there with Kennedy. And Kennedy is hauled down. Australia, though, getting to the pace of this match, going wide. Back inside it comes. And that was Jason Riles.
Chris Joint came to the rescue with a superb ball and all hit.
Here's John, a little stab through. There's bodies all over the place. It's just over the line. Jamie Lyon was hunting. So close.
Good effort from the youngster.
Bodies falling, though, in back play as that kick was put in.
Just a little bit too strong, but where did he come from?
Of this match is unrelenting, and it's with Sinfield. 19 and a half minutes gone. Britain still, crucially and maybe critically, have the 6-point advantage as Fielden drives it in again. Forshaw, back it goes to Sculthorpe. He goes for a 40-20.
He's got it. Will it turn?
Sculthorpe, and it's gone the wrong way. Just the wrong side.
Wonderful effort, though. Deliberately stepped back over the 40, and as you can see, it went the wrong side of the flag.
6 inches the other side, and it would be Britain's head and feet at the scrum.
Either way, Eddie, they're standing up solid. They're forcing Australia into virtually one-out football. It's not what they like. They like to keep this ball alive, but they are being forced into it.
It's Robbie Kearns, and that's Paul Anderson who is on. So 2 members of the awesome foursome for the Bradford Bulls are on the field as Kennedy manages to take that ball at the second attempt, and good pressure from Great Britain, but the Aussies have it back here with Matthew Gidley.
Well, it's important for Great Britain. They know that the Australians just aren't clicking as yet, but we still only got 6 points on the board. We really wanted to maybe get a second try.
That's a great kick. That's a huge kick from Andrew Johns. Tester here for Leon Price, but he comes up with the goods. There's the young Bradford winger. Great take. Now then, here comes Radlinsky for Britain. Petros Sivanasiva is on for the Australians, number 16. Connolly. Connolly ducks under one challenge. Sivanasiva's there, though, to tidy up.
And again, we see the Australian defence. They've fallen off the man carrying the football. That first tackle, which
Kearns is done for the flop, yeah. Kearns is penalised for the flop.
Well, that just shows you the frustration that's running through this Australian team, should I say, and that was, well, sheer stupidity. And look at the position that it's all, that was pretty forward. We're looking to get away with that one.
Robert Connolly was very close to the action there. Anderson hangs on, Sivanasiva on his haunches as Fielden drives the ball in again. And the young Bradford Bull is wrestled to the ground. Mike Forshaw at dummy half behind him. Come down the short side and Peacock.
Watch for the switch now. Farrell shouting for it.
And here is Sinfield. It goes on to Sculthorpe. And then wide to Farrell. He bounces off one challenge. And then he's enveloped by 2 more green and gold jerseys. 4 tackles gone. Great Britain lost a bit of ground then. They're 20 metres away. This, though, is Chris Joint. Here is Paul Sculthorpe. Sculthorpe with a dab through. It was a bit too shallow. And Darren Lockyer is able to pick up for Australia.
But again, we see this solid defence, absolutely superb. We need to do this for the full 80 minutes, and they know it. David Waite, the Australian. A lot of people criticise the fact that we went for an Australian for the very first time ever as our head coach in this country. And he said it would take a while to prepare the guys to take on the might of Australia. Well, they've certainly done it so far.
And the fact of the matter is, if Great Britain actually win this test match and indeed win this series, they won't care if it's a Martian who is coaching the team.
Well, that's something you very rarely see. Well, they've classified Andrew Johns as one of the best pair of hands in all of rugby league. But David Waite, he'll be happy. 6-0.
23 minutes gone.
They have the lead. And Andrew Johns coming up with yet another mistake. Normally the Australians, you'd be hard to find them make 3 or 4 mistakes during the entire match.
Great tackle there by Fittler on Senior, but Great Britain moving the ball right with Connolly, and he gives it then to Leon Price, and Leon Price dances away from 4, dances away from 5.
That's confidence for you.
Play on. It's with Sinfield, who bounces off another one, flicks it back on the ground, picked up then by Forshaw. But good defence there on show from Michael Vella. Here is Anderson. 3 tackles gone.
Great Britain using the short pass in and around the play the ball area.
Farrell goes up the middle, spins, gives it to Radlinski, his Wigan teammate. He gives it then to Jamie Peacock, and he will drive it in, but not too far. Only as far as Robbie Kearns. That was a big hit. Forshaw, and here now is Fielden, and Fielden offloads in dangerous situations, and they've lost ground, but fortunately they hold on to the football.
Great work from Sinfield there. You could see he shepherded him away, gave them no opportunity. It was going to be his ball. This is a good kick.
Great kick, but McDougall's up to it. Oh, and he was nearly away, and that was good defence from Paul Johnson. So
Well,
Australia back in possession.
Look at that, they wanted to offload there, Matthew Gidley, and there was nobody wanting to come and take the ball away. They are totally confused at the moment, are Australia.
Australia back in possession here, and this is Lockyer. He's lost the ball and went forward. Lost the ball in the way to the tackle, did the fullback. Oh, but no, it was stolen.
Stolen out. 2 men in attendance, says the official. Yep, and you can see there that it was Sculthorpe that came as the second man. Well spotted by Robert Connolly. Now then, this
first penalty for Australia in the match. That's 25 minutes old, and this is a golden opportunity with Sivanasiva. Peacock was hunting him, so too was Anderson. Now then, it's with he's lost it, and that's only the second tackle. Radlinski will launch a British attack again, hauled down though by Cairns.
They're on the rack, I can assure you of that, and that was a good hit. Stuart Fielden there, getting his body on the line.
And there's a penalty now for Great Britain.
Tackle complete. You came in and swing your arm.
And Jason Riles, certainly Riley's coach, Chris Anderson, with silly play from that. Right into the mush of Johnson. And this is just what Great Britain needed. To see Australia absolutely confused, panicking, giving silly penalties away, but their ball handling has been quite atrocious.
Great Britain have tried to force the pass at times. They haven't been terribly secure with the football, but importantly they have the 6-point lead, and they are trying to keep this ball alive. And it's here with Farrell now, the British captain, into the 20-metre zone. Vadiris was there, so too was Andrew Johns. Britain quick play the ball. That's been a feature of this first half. It goes from Peacock to Farrell, and he's down a blind alley. Sculthorpe takes over. Sculthorpe's seen again. Sculthorpe will score for Britain. And then Chris Anderson is furious with his defence. But Paul Sculthorpe, the man of steel, the Players' Player of the Year, saw a gap and darted through it. David Waite makes a note, a little smile from the British coach. Great Britain have a 10-point lead.
And boy, oh boy, they needed that. They knew that Australia was on the rack and they had to make them suffer, and they do. Good offload. Look how they just hung around to see what Farrell was going to do. He did ever so well. He used Forshaw as a foil through the dummy, and the man of steel, he just mesmerises them. They didn't know what was happening. Look how Forshaw was utilised, legally I might add, And Sculthorpe has sent the crowd here absolutely crackers. Who would have thought it?
He sent his teammates crackers as well. Paul Sculthorpe of St Helens, the man who scooped all the Players' Awards this year. And he had a dreadful World Cup semi-final by his own admission against the Kiwis last year. But boy, he has just lit up the McAlpine Stadium. Steve-O, I don't wish to be churlish, but there are people who might say that that was an illegal use of Mike Forshaw. And maybe Great Britain could have been penalised for a shepherding.
Well, not really, because Forshaw was just stood there. He didn't move anyway. And you're allowed to stand any way you like, as long as you don't interfere with anybody. And he didn't do that, as far as I'm concerned.
Farrell to add the extras, and he does. Great Britain have a dream start. They're ahead by 12 points to 0.
Add a new look to your home with a custom.
The first half, it's just not... Well, it's not in their bag of tricks, is it?
It isn't, and they will be stung by the fact that they're 12-0 down. Well, watching alongside us here is Sean McRae, now of Hull, who, of course, 3 years ago paid big money for Paul Sculthorpe at St Helens. Sean, it looked like, when you see that, the money that day was well spent.
Sure was, Eddie. It's been a great game, hasn't it, so far for Great Britain. It's all about territory possession, and there's no question that Great Britain have had some back-to-back sets. Their kicking game's been marvellous, and it's actually taken a lot of pressure off their defensive efforts, because they've been able to get numbers in the tackle and slow the play the ball down. Australia, on the other hand, to me, they look tired. There's a lot of players walking. They're not playing their natural game. They're not being allowed to play the natural game, and therefore there are a lot of one-out runners who are making it easier for Great Britain to defend very, very well. They're under pressure, Australia, but like champions do, they often find a way to come back. But it'll be interesting to see what they can do in the next 10 minutes.
Thanks, Sean. We have 10 minutes to half-time. We'll be hearing from Sean again then. Meanwhile, it's Australia who are in possession here with Jason Riles. But so far, so good for Great Britain. The defence is standing solid. And here now is Barrett attacking that defence. Gets the ball away to Gidley. And Britain scrambling across and shutting the options down. And they have been coming up with these glaring errors.
Trent Barrett this time. This is a nightmare for Chris Anderson, and you could see there, it doesn't matter at what level you're at, you've got to keep your eyes on that football. And it was quite obvious that Barrett lost the composure, took his eyes off the ball and paid the price. Chris Anderson looks absolutely stunned up there in the stand. And he's every right to be. He knows they've been outplayed.
Well, Paul Anderson is on the field, and so too young Richard Horne. 19 years of age. He was named in the week as to start this match, and then they had a change of heart, and Mike Forshaw has been replaced. Sinfield moves to hooker, and Richard Horne at scrum half. Let's see what the youngster can do. Bags of potential, of course, from Richard Horne. Another kick to test Takiri. And they're there in numbers. Connolly and Price.
Oh, they've been well prepared of this British outfit. Full credit to them, but as Sean McRae said, the Aussies have so much skill and the speed. We cannot just take a rest for 1 second.
Well, they haven't done so far for 31.5 minutes. Early in the match, their defence was tested with possession right underneath the British sticks. They survived that. They've scored 2 tries. They've kicked 2 goals. They're in the box seat at the moment. They lead by 12 points to 0. Australia, 4 tackles gone. They're on the halfway line. Badiris gets it away. Here now is Gidley. Gidley, good hands to Badiris again. Looping pass. On the bounce, it's picked up by Riles. Wide again it comes to Lyon. And Lyon will attack them, but Sculthorpe is there and Connolly is there.
Great sliding defence.
Here's Andrew Johns, hit a bit high, got the ball away though. Fittler, good hands again. Lottie Takiri will dab the ball over the top. Radlinski is there, and Chris Radlinski, solid as a rock.
Oh, that's like just putting the bacon and eggs out of the frying pan for Radlinski. Not the best kick from Takiri. And we see just a few moments ago that they applied the pressure to Lottie Takiri. They really feel he is a problem, and he's certainly come up with a few errors.
12-0. A little more than 7 minutes to the half-time siren, and
Well, I must say,
you wouldn't want this to stop, would you, from a British point of view?
No, that is for sure.
Sculthorpe with the kick. He's gone for the 40-20, and that's been knocked inside, and Richard Horn takes it.
Could be a try here.
Good chase by Horn. Takiri took an eternity to get to it. Offside, not standing square in the play of the ball, Great Britain.
Just a little bit over keen there.
Substitution.
That was
number
outstanding
8, Jason
from the fullback there.
But then Lottie Takiri just loped his way to the ball, and Richard Horn was hunting.
That's another big problem that Chris Henderson will be trying to rejuvenate.
They've not found touch, the Aussies, with that penalty.
What a mistake.
Radlinski did brilliantly. And here he comes now, Radlinski.
Oh, that was pretty late. Kennedy right over the top. Good job that the fullback just ducked underneath it.
Britain have got their tails up. Look at this.
What a great effort from the fullback. Chris Henderson will be spewing about this.
Well, one fullback at one end did brilliantly, and then the other, Chris Radlinski, did ever so well up the British end.
Well, I had my doubts, Eddie, when David Waite decided to go without a recognised hooker. But he has been vindicated. He brought Forshaw into that role. Forshaw's left the field, of course, but he's done his job. And you've got to hand it to David Waite.
On the bounce it goes to Andy Farrell. And Farrell attacks them up the middle. I wonder whether they'll be tempted with a drop goal. Richard Horn has dropped back.
I think they
Paul
should do.
Sculthorpe has dropped back. It's charged down by Sinfield's kick. And, well, he's there is Jason Riles, but he is also greeted by 3 Great Britain defenders.
Well, Sinfield lost his composure there. The youngster Horn was way back. He should not have gone for the glory himself. You could see Horn, and he's bitterly disappointed as a youngster. He was shouting for that football. And that could have been a decisive 1 point as well.
Critical 5 minutes up to half-time. 12-0. If Great Britain can hang on to this 12-0 advantage, well, the difference between the two sides will seem enormous for the Australians when they get into that dressing room. Not out of the window, not by any stretch of the imagination, not in the modern game, but 12-0 would be a long, long way to go. And with kicking like that from the best in the world, Australia are, at the moment, not at the races.
Yeah, they're off song, aren't they? And I think a few sharp words will be said by Anderson, David Waite.
He looks the coolest customer at the McAlpine at the moment, the British coach.
He always does, doesn't he? Doesn't say much, but he reckons that actions speak much better than words.
Good dart away there by Joint. He just lost his footing, and Johns was able to come across and drop on him and complete the tackle. Ooh, that's a big hit. What a hit that is by Ben Kennedy. And missed tackles 15 from Australia. And that tells its own story. And there's another handling error, unfortunately for Great Britain, and Stuart Fielden.
Yeah, you can see there that he just didn't take control of that ball.
Thunderous challenge, though, from Ben Kennedy.
They've got to up the tempo. Australia know it. And that's why it's so vital that Great Britain make sure that their defence is solid.
Well, they have to now. It's with Lockyer. Radlinski got to it.
From the full-back on his opposite.
Here goes Barrett.
Psychologically, we've got to make sure that it's Australia still nil when they go into the sheds at half-time.
Kennedy, magnificent in the grand final for the Knights against the Parramatta Eels. Gets to his feet, centre field, plays the ball. Jason Stevens will drive it in. Peacock stood his ground. Anderson was there. Fielden was there. Here's Badouris. Gets it away to Barrett. A little drop of the shoulder. Support then. Oh, and it's caught inside. Off Kennedy. And to his opposite, Paul Anderson.
And they're not square, and that's a silly penalty to give away.
And Andy Farrell's taking it quickly, and Farrell's away, and he's got Connolly. Oh!
High shot there.
That was Brad Fittler.
Brad Fittler. The nervous energy on the face of Chris Henderson there. Watch this, whack. Straight into Connolly's head. Bang. Well, you can hear the crowd, and rightly so. Not noted for foul play, I must say, Brad Fittler. Gets most of the glory for his skills, but you can see there that the centre, Garrett Connolly, is a little bit of a wing there. and it's not a bad idea. Just he's been around, he knows what's needed, and they'll just get the smelling salt up the nostril. This is the action. Wonderful tackle there. Great play by Fielden. And Anderson came up with the football. Yet another mistake from the green and gold.
Well, I wonder whether Farrell will be tempted to have a kick at goal here as Connolly gets to his feet. And the Warrington Barmy Army's here. And it's worth, he is going to kick it here, is Farrell. It's worth noting, Steve, that the last 2 times that Great Britain have beaten Australia in a test match, Melbourne in 1992 and Wembley in 1994, Australia, the scoreline against them at half-time was a big 0.
And that's why he's concerned. They have been played off the park, and when you add all those mistakes up, that Australia, they've copped up the ball time and time again. You've got to get momentum in big games, and they've been unable to do that.
2 from 2 from Farrell. This is a vital kick for Great Britain. It's Henry Paul range, this. Farrell's got underneath it. Just underneath the bar. Lockyer to run it back. He gets away from Anderson. Sinfield was there, but Anderson got him at the second attempt, and Lockyer wanting to get on with the ball and just being held up there by Anderson. Anderson in again in the thick of the battle with Fielden.
Time and time again, this Great Britain defence are forcing Australia into that one-out situation.
This is Stevens.
Australia realise, especially with Fittler out there and Johns,
there is Fittler.
They've got to keep this ball out wide.
Here's Johns.
But look at that defence. You see how they're coming in from the angle. They're forcing Australia down that middle of the park.
Now then, a drive in here from Michael Vella. Gets Australia to within 20 metres of the line on the last tackle here. Badiris to Fittler. Fittler to Lockyer. Lockyer then back to Fittler. And Fittler attacking them, and it'll step towards the end goal area. Very shallow, too deep, and a little grimace and little word from Chris Anderson. I don't think he's happy.
Well, mere desperation from the loose forward, Brad Fittler there. Not the best kick in the end. And he knows that it's going to take a big shake-up during the half-time, and this will be up the jumper time now.
That's the last tackle of a magnificent first half for Great Britain. Chris Anderson has got problems. Has half-time come at exactly the wrong moment for Great Britain? If you were a British fan, you would wish that this match would go on and on. Because Great Britain lead by 12 points to 0. If it was another 40 minutes down the road, we would be celebrating a victory. As it is, half the job is done. Peacock and Sculthorpe with the tries, Farrell with 2 goals. Great Britain are ahead by 12 points to 0. Remember Melbourne. Remember 1994 at Wembley. The boys in this Great Britain dressing room know the last time that they celebrated victory over the Aussies, they kept them to a scoreless first half. They've done that here at the McAlpine Stadium.
Time, 10 o'clock.
A wonderfully committed performance from the Great Britain side in the first 40 minutes of our first test. Rewarded with 2 tries. Jamie Peacock, Paul Sculthorpe both crossing. Andy Farrell converted both of those. And Australia kept the 0, and Phil Gould, from the first minute, the Lions have ripped in. They've put plenty of pressure on the Australians. They've kept it very simple, and I think it's fair to say that the Australians have not handled it particularly well.
No, we said before the game they were underprepared, but that certainly came to fruition in that first 40 minutes. Also, the effect of David Waite on this Great Britain side. Now, there's some things that his football is renowned for. They're very, very structured, the English team. They've got a good kicking game, putting a lot of pressure onto Keary and Lockyer there at the back. Also running out of dummy half, keeping the ball moving on the inside, which is giving the Australian forwards a lot of problems. They look good, Great Britain. Defensively, they're also very solid too. Getting up inside that 10 metres a lot, but that's causing Australia no end of trouble. For the Australians, they're very, very flat in offence.
Way too flat.
Way too flat. And David Waite knew that. He knew that Chris Anderson likes to play that way. And unless they change that, I can't see Australia getting out of this problem. David Waite has got his team up in their face, and Australia just can't get any cohesion. Their skilled players haven't got time to do anything with the football, and they're making a lot of errors. The penalty count 6-2, nothing going right for the Aussies.
Well, David Waite would have been hoping for a good start. He got that after 2 minutes. A little bit of luck, but it was a reward for enthusiasm.
That's not a good charge.
It's charged down and a chance here, and Connolly has swooped on it, and Connolly tips the ball inside, and Peacock scores! Peacock scored for Great Britain!
Yeah, the perfect start for Great Britain, and very typical of the way they've played their first 40 minutes. Up in the face of the Australians, Lockyer, no time to kick. Good work here by Connolly to pick it up and pass in the one motion. And Peacock, who actually caused the charge down, was on hand to pick up the first 4-pointer of the game after only a couple of minutes. But right throughout that first set of 6, Great Britain up in the face of the Australians, giving them no room to move.
Now, that gave the crowd plenty to cheer about, and you know that they were always going to be very vocal through this game. They had cause for more voice. Only a minute or so later, Jason Stevens earning the wrath of the crowd with an incident. I'm prepared to give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, these are difficult situations. I don't think any player, especially Jason Stevens, is going to get up and deliberately try and stomp on a player.
No, the commentator in England, Mike Stevenson, gave him a fair razzing. I guess you can understand that. Not a nice incident. I think you'll have a case to answer when the review committee has a look at that.
OK, the opportunities for Australia have been few and far between. One thing that the Great Britain side have done well is slid very well in defence, and they were able to deny Adam McDougall a try again only moments later.
It's out wide. Good defence. Terrific defence there from Paul Johnson.
Defensive pattern is they know when to get up and they know when to slide, and on that occasion they felt they were outnumbered. Good tackle over there in the corner. Only just got his foot on the line, but it was enough to save the try.
Now, one thing that David Waite has done is made quite a few positional changes, and Paul Sculthorpe has done a very good job as the standoff, the 5'8". He's normally a back rower. Sculthorpe is the man of steel. He was named the best player in the competition over there, and not far out from half-time, he put his side even more in the ascendancy, crossing after some good lead-up work.
Britain quick play the ball. That's been a feature of this first half. It goes from Peacock to Farrell, and he's down a blind alley. Sculthorpe takes over. Sculthorpe's seen again! Sculthorpe will score for Britain!
Yeah, the Australians would have complained perhaps about a shepherd here, but again, typical of David Waite, keeping the ball alive in the middle of the ruck, good footwork. And Sculthorpe, as you say, normally a back rower, has played the entire Super League season in England in the 5'8" spot, was their player of the year, and he's also had some nice touches with the ball apart from that. Some long kicking down the right-hand side of the field, nearly picked up a couple of 40-20s.
Kicking game has been very good. We've seen Sculthorpe kick a couple of times, but the Andy Farrell has definitely targeted Lottie Takiri, as the commentators pointed out very early, and that's been successful. He's looked a little bit tentative, Takiri.
Look, the Great Britain side has been well coached here. They've got marching orders. They've got a simple plan. They're kicking very well down the right-hand half of the field. Connolly is leading the chase down there, putting some pressure on. Australia at the moment don't look as though they do have a plan. They've gone in with a very flat offence, and David Waite's predicted that. He's got up in their face. He's caused them problems. We're turning the ball over far too often to get any momentum, and our skilled players have got no room to move. Now, England have got to keep it up for the next 40 minutes because we know how much attack is in the Australians. And I guess the limited preparation, now that they've got that 40 minutes behind them and can sit in the dressing room, get the cobwebs out of their head, perhaps come back with something a little bit better in the second half.
Well, you mentioned the 6-2 penalty count against the Australians. If we have a look at the other statistics, it is very impressive for the home side, especially the breaks. 8-2, you would not expect that against the quality of this Australian defence.
No, you wouldn't. If you look in the middle break there, you've got line breaks 8-2 against Australia, offloads 14-8. That's what I'm talking about, David Waite keeping the ball alive in the middle of the ruck, and runs from dumming half 8-3. Again, little men getting out with good footwork on the big Australian forwards, trying to work them over. That's very typical of David Waite type football. Sets completed down the bottom there, 14. They've been pretty good with the ball, England, and Australia only 11 from 19 opportunities.
Let's have a look at the top performers with the statistics. Chris Joint working the joint down, 23, excuse the pun. He's worked very, very hard. Stuart Field and Andy Farrell also doing well. Radlinski, Sculthorpe, Connolly, all backline men They've caused problems for the Australian team as well, and the offloads again led by Chris Joynt. For Australia, Andrew Johns at halfback, leading the tackle count with his Newcastle teammate Daniel Badiris. Brad Fittler again working at lock. Takiri and Jamie Lyon, limited opportunities for those men, but they have busted the line on one occasion. While for the offloads, again, it's the backline men, Gidley, Barrett and Lyon featuring there. Second half, Phil, Australia must get deeper, better kicking game, and they need the kind of start this second half that England got to start the game off.
It does. It comes down to the Australian forwards. They've got to get more momentum. They can't stand alongside the play of the ball and hope to get through this English defence, which is in their face. They've got to get a little bit of depth, get on the ball, get some momentum. If they do that, then Johns and Barrett and Fittler can create something for them and put Lockyer away. But until they get a little bit of depth in their attack, they're not going to get around this England side. They're up in their face, causing a lot of problems.
What about this English side in the middle of the ruck? The likes of their big men. We've seen so often in the past they tire. We can't rely on that, but is that an area that you think Badiris will be looking to target, say, after 10 or 15?
I think he's got to. I think the couple of times that he has run from dummy half, Jamie Lyon got in there once and found a little inroad. It's probably the best way to turn this England side around, to actually get out of that dummy half area and get them on the back foot. Once they do that, I think we've got the skill to score the points and get back in the game. I just think with this Great Britain side, they're prepared to infringe in the 10 metres. They're only about 6 or 7 metres back. They're up in our face. We're getting no momentum. The crowd is lifting them. So they're not going to tire under those conditions. We've got to come up with something that does tire them. Also, with our kicking game, we've given away 5 20-metre taps. Now, David Waite was criticised by the Australian camp for going with a 6-metre in goal in this game. That's another tactic that's proved very successful.
Yeah. It's a very good test match. I'm looking forward to this second 40 minutes. At the end of what was a marvellous domestic season as well, if you'd like to make sure that you keep the memories of season 2001, here is an opportunity to do so.
Even though the season is over, you still have a chance to claim one of 2 great moments from this year's NRL. Maroon Fury Unleashed and Grand Final 2001. Limited to 1,000 prints, Maroon Fury Unleashed captures Queensland's victory in this year's State of Origin.
Darren Smith. Now it is Bowman. Bowman's over.
And is personally autographed by the player of the series, Queensland and Brisbane fullback Darren Lockyer. Grand Final 2001 features the victorious Newcastle Knights, seizing premiership glory at the game's first night grand final.
Rudder. There it again.
And each print is individually signed by captain and Churchill medal winner Andrew Johns. Maroon Fury Unleashed is yours for $145, while Grand Final 2001 is priced at $175. Get on the phone and call 1300 366 550 or log on to 9msn.com.au/sport.
The foundations. Whoa!
How was your breakfast?
Richard Swain. Oh, big shot on Robinson. Webkin. Reuben. Oh, Beatty. How do you do? Oh, Reardon got the shoulder. Back and top for Taylor. Top that, Jason. Top that. Oh, heavens above. Was that a tackle? Ooh!
That had some nuts and bolts in it.
Oh, that is a big tackle. The Sharks player is unconscious. Oh, that's a copybook tackle. Toovey! Go little Jeffrey! Oh, he's gone!
Toovey is in Disneyland.
The home fans loving every second of this first Ashes test. Their side leading 12 points to 0. Some problems for Brad Fittler and his men. Don't forget, 42 years since the Australians last lost a series in England, and they have won their last 12 test matches. The fans hoping that Great Britain can see history repeat itself. The Kangaroos losing the first test in both 1990 and 1994.
I'm sure that David Wade
go back to McAlpine with Eddie and Mike.
It's important that they kick on like they did in the first 40.
A vital period of this match for Great Britain. They're ahead 12-0. If they can get to the hour mark with Australia still behind the 8 ball, who knows? But it's a long, long way to go, and the fat lady is still walking around this ground. It ain't over till she starts singing. This is Jason Riles. Inside it goes, and good kick from Johns. Booming kick, but he went for the 40-20, didn't quite get the angle right, so Radlinski picks it up on the bounce. Good charge downfield from Gidley, good tackle from him too. It's now with Johnson, he bounces off Gidley, but Gidley comes back for a second snap.
Oh, swinging down there from Jason Stevens.
Good job that Johnson was on the deck. Here is Richard Horne, 19 years of age, Horne.
Well, he gave him a facial yet again. Well, that's silly play. I'm sure that Anderson, the Aussie coach, would have said, hey, come on. And he's spoken to the official, and he's got him back for another 10. And Chris Anderson, well, he said, look, up the tempo, yes, but don't give away silly penalties like that.
I thought that Andrew Farrell might be tempted to kick for goal, but they look like they're hunting the 6. And after that kick, why shouldn't they? Now then, this is a glorious opportunity for Great Britain. Sinfield, here is Fielden, roared on by this crowd here at the McAlpine.
There's the big fella, Anderson.
Well, there is Sinfield, and there is Anderson, but he took that at a standing start. The referee's on the deck, and the referee, well, now he knows how heavy Anderson and Kennedy are.
Well, I think Anderson would have loved that. Well, not often you get an official in your sights. He took full advantage, but most importantly, can Great Britain add to their score?
Well, they're in possession here with Peacock. They're 8 metres away. Paul Sculthorpe is the dummy half. He'll have a go himself. Gives it to Peacock. Peacock dabs it to the in-goal area. Grounded in goal by the Australians. And good work in the end from Lottie Takiri.
Looks very nervous, doesn't he, Chris Anderson? He knows that his side was on the rack in the first half, and they're doing exactly the same thing. Came up with a few errors in that first half, did this fella Takiri. Got plenty of speed to burn, in fact, but haven't given him any opportunity at all.
Well, that was the second goal line dropout. This time the Australians had to go long because Great Britain had read the script after that one in the first half that was just grub at 10 metres. But they have possession midway inside the Aussies' half. Opening blows of this second half of the Test match. Richard Horne to Fielden, almost went without it. Thought about offloading. Kennedy had cut down that option. Took the tackle from Stevens. Here now is Andrew Farrell. Back it goes to Chris Joint. And 20 metres away from the line, Joint is grounded. Sinfield for Britain, the dummy half. Well, he gives it in field to Richard Horne. A stuttering little run from Horne, halted by Badiris. Last one here for Great Britain. Farrell with the drop goal. Farrell with the drop goal. Missed it.
Good tactics. That shows you that this British side is full of ideas. And it would have been an important one-pointer, that I can assure you of.
Well done. Australia back in possession then here with Riles. Bounces off a couple of tackles. Joint comes in. Let's get the half-time news. What was said in the dressing rooms, Bill?
It's a very satisfied Great Britain coach, David Waite, and his team, Brian Noble and Graham Steadman, and they just really want the Great Britain side to do exactly as they did in that first 40 minutes, complete their sets of 6, if possible, cut the errors to a complete minimum, because without the ball, Australia can do nothing, and that was the message from Chris Anderson. They haven't had the possession. First of all, they've got to secure possession. When they do get possession, the Aussies believe that they can trouble this Great Britain defence, but unless they tighten up, they're not going to have that ball. They've got it now, though.
They have with Pittler. A dab in field and a bit of pushing and shoving, but it bounces kindly. Badiris flicks the ball up and loses it. Well, Badiris had the opportunity, flicked the ball up. Knock on is the decision.
Great work there. Gary Connolly came from nowhere. Neat little chip over the top. And Connolly just... Is it Connolly? No, it's... Oh, it's Radlinski. Connolly came second. Great work from the full back there. The little hooker, Badiris, was well and way towards the line. And you talk about the skills. We saw some from Brad Fittler there. In a big battle between the two big guys.
Heads in.
Anderson and Stevens having a bit of argy-bargy in the front row. Smiling about it at the end of the day. This is Sculthorpe now, and Fittler was after him, and so too was Barrett. Didn't like it, Sculthorpe. This now, though, is Farrell. Good tackle by Jason Riles. Here's Connolly at dummy half. That's got to be a flop. That's surely got to be a flop by Riles.
Well, I don't think the tackle was completed. That's the reason why the official didn't blow.
Well, he shouted 3 and Riles went over the top.
Let's go,
Anyway, all academic. The kick downfield is from Sculthorpe. He's gone for the 40-20. He's got it. He's got the 40-20. Touch judge's flag went up immediately.
Either way, it was going to be a dropout anyway.
He's gone to the video referee to decide this. He wants to check where the kick was taken, not whether it crossed the line over on that other side, and he's well inside the 40.
Yep, no problem whatsoever. Head and feet to the British boys. That's an almighty kick, isn't it?
Scrum attack, 40-20, scrum attack. Scrum attack, yes.
We think that that's the first 40-20 in Ashes history, because the rules wasn't in last time. There's one for you. This is Farrell.
The rules wasn't in.
The rules, I'm catching your disease. This is Sculthorpe. Oh, he went for the interception.
Oh, he's done it so many times too. That could have been the deciding factor. Oh, it was a dodgy pass from Sculthorpe, and the Aussie skipper, he read it well, got into the position and just couldn't drag it in. That could have been a turning point. More pressure for the green and gold.
Head and feet of the scrum, Richard Horne. And at the back of the scrum comes Paul Sculthorpe with it. And tackled there by Andrew Johns. Joint will attack them surely from that position. And he does! Joint! So close! What an effort! Sinfield at dummy half. Here's the captain, Farrell. And they've surrounded Andy Farrell and they bring him to ground.
Great defence by the Aussies. They had to be as well.
Sinfield off the deck. Richard Horne. On it goes to Field and back to Horne. This now is Jamie Peacock. He knows where the line is. Flick pass to Horne. Knock back and play on.
Missed a golden opportunity there.
Okay.
They were in a tremendous position, was Great Britain then.
I've got it, mate.
And tried to force it.
16.
Want a word with Paul Anderson. High shot on Jason Riles.
There's Sakiri knocking the ball backwards, so it was play on up at that point. And there you can see it. He didn't miss either. Well, he'll be furious, David Waite, the Great Britain coach.
Yes, because all that pressure suddenly just eases off.
It was a golden opportunity to get themselves sorted out and maybe opt for the little kick.
Riles again. Good defence from Fielder. Oh, he's popped it up. It's with Sinfield.
Well, he's all over the place, isn't he, Sinfield?
Smart thinking from Sinfield. Here now is Gary Connolly. Oof, swinging arm there from Michael Vella. Good job that Connolly was on his way down. It's with Horne. The youngster taking them on. Ben Kennedy around him.
Jason Stevens. He's walking the tightrope. He's the prop forward.
Bashing his way through two of them. 2 tackles remaining. Sinfield spins the ball to Sculthorpe. Back it goes to Jamie Peacock. Peacock is trapped. They're banged under the sticks again, though. Another drop goal, maybe. Sculthorpe's back there. So is Farrell. It goes back to Sculthorpe. And that one counts. That one will count. Sculthorpe with the 1 point. That is crucial because it means the Aussies must score at least 3 times.
Well, so...
Is pain controlling your life? Get in
Paul Anderson.
Well, they've shown no fear. They walked out tall and proud.
And look at the possession in this second half. And this fella's having a wow.
They're playing as a unit. And the Australians aren't having the opportunity to play the same fashion. And you can see the British boys, they're so eager to get on with it.
Terry O'Connor's returned to the fray. His first run, 10 stitches, remember, in the head wound. Wants to be part of anything that might happen in the next half hour. And that kick is drifted over the top by Farrell. And that will just wind the clock down still further. Great Britain will be in no hurry to get to this scrum.
Total control. You can see there how the ball was spinning backwards. Something that the kickers practice week in, week out. And he knows now that if his kicking game is on song for the rest of this game, it is going to be an heroic victory for the British guys. But we keep saying it, these Australians will not throw the towel in. They've got so much skill and speed.
29 minutes to go. We've seen it so often before, of course, that Britain have done so well in the first test and then fallen off. This is only the beginning, no matter what happens in the next 29 minutes. It's only the begining.
Well, over the years, Eddie, it's always been the final 40 where we've
tackle from Hall. And again. Oh, it's lost it there, McDougall. Did he regather it before it hit the deck? He must have done.
I think he did.
Great Britain, though, they've got their tails up here. Yep. Last tackle.
They've got great belief in themselves. Their defensive line has been outstanding.
They're running at the Aussies. This is dangerous. Little dab over the top, looking for the speed of Takiri. Went without it. And Radlinski tidies up for Great Britain.
Well, he showed you their ability. And that's the first time in the second half that we've been caught out wide. Surely David Waite will get the message down. A little chip over the top. Connolly just hanging around enough to put off Takiri.
Here's Terry O'Connor, hands it on to Paul Sculthorpe, 40 metres away from his own line.
Well, we haven't seen the skills of the two halfbacks, Trent Barrett and Andrew Johns, as yet. They haven't really combined, they haven't had much opportunity. There you see Andrew Johns got the elbow right in the face.
Farrell with a kick downfield. Oh, and he's managed to find the field of play, but it will run too deep over the dead ball line.
He won't mind. He knows that on the 10 metres they can get a straight line of defence. It's been wonderful so far.
And there is the thin white line. This is Lottie Takiri, Jointon Farrell. Chances here as Johns just tried to take them on. This is a run again from Jason Riles from the St George Illawarra club. On halfway, he plays it to Danny Badiris. Infield it goes to Barrett, then it goes wide to Fittler, the Aussie captain. Beautiful skill from Fittler. Out the back door and then over the top looking for Takiri, and they find touch.
Well, Barrett looking for the winger, but I'm afraid Takiri had already decided to come back from the inside.
That was beautiful skill from Fittler, though.
There you see the winger coming inside, no one at home, and yet another mistake. It has been a nightmare for this fella and his colleagues. He's not too impressed either, Chris Anderson.
Well, he said he hoped it would be a keenly contested series. It's been a keenly contested first test. Horn. Here comes Radlinski.
Let's go! On your line!
So important now that Britain just close things down, not do anything silly, just play basic rugby league football and then leave the kick into Farrell. Make sure that they get that kick and chase game working. So effective in that first half.
Here now is O'Connor. Brave run from the big prop forward that. Sinfield's in at dummy half. Here is Farrell. Back it goes to Johnson.
Great defence.
He ran into an ambush then. It was led by Stevens. He managed to release the ball though, and it's play on. It went backwards, so it's still 4. Now it's 5. That's the last. Richard Horne's the dummy half. Here is Sculthorpe, and the kick out wide looking for Leon Price. It's gone a bit high though. So Connolly, well, he was underneath it, but he couldn't get hands to it completely. And Takiri flicks the ball in field to Riles. It looked suspect.
Sure was.
Johns, Joint, and Farrell again.
They're just really closing them down. Maybe on that replay it was okay. The official got it right, but this British outfit, they are just jumping out of their skins. Look at that straight line. Forcing Australia yet again down that well-worn path down the middle.
Badiris gets the ball away, and Fittler with the kick, but a little bit too deep because Radlinski's there, but he better hurry. Clear after him.
Wonderful kick and chase there.
Shaqiri leading the way.
Oh, nearly a mix-up there. Sculthorpe.
Well, he nipped in. I don't know whether that surely couldn't have been planned. He nipped in and he fooled the Australian defenders. He didn't like the attention from Mr. Cairns either. Here is Connolly.
And this is where a little bit of professionalism comes in. Start talking and niggling to your opposition.
That's a big hit.
Great tackle from Johns.
On Paul Johnson. Here's Richard Horne. Now Andy Farrell. Just couldn't get away from Barrett and from Badiris. Last tackle here for Britain. It's with Horne. Good kick. But on the bounce, straight into the arms of Lockyer. And the chase isn't bad. Here is McDougall. Gidley. Good defence from Britain here. It's been the hallmark of their display so far. Kennedy. Farrell and O'Connor. Here's Johns, and it goes wide. Beautiful ball inside to Takiri. Takiri got the pass away. It's Johns, and Andrew Johns will score under the post. Aussies aren't done yet. Brilliant skill down that left-hand side. And Andrew Johns over underneath the sticks. Came from nothing, this.
Wonderful play. The combination. See how they used the dummy runner. Foyle back on the inside. Jamie Lyon has impressed me, this youngster. Takiri did well though. Johns skirting up on the inside. And for once they've been able to get it out wide. The combination of the two halves certainly working there. Beautiful play by Lyon. Back on the inside. Takiri onto Johns. They're on the way back on the fight back.
Well, if ever there was a little warning, it was there for Great Britain. And Johns makes no mistake from in front of the posts.
Hi, let me tell you.
Great Britain must now dig in.
And they can't afford just to hang on now. They've got to be constructive when they have the ball in their hands. They've got to be looking for scoring that extra try, not just to hang in there.
We're in the danger zone almost, aren't we, the last quarter of the match, when generally the petrol runs out. But there's been nothing to show from this British side yet. The petrol is on the wane. That's a good kick again, though, from Andrew Johns, and Radlinski's after it. Great chase. Well, they look very tired at half-time, the Australians, but that try here has lifted them visibly. And here now is Leon Price.
Well, they know they're within range now, don't they? And, OK, a little bit slipshod in that first 20 minutes, start of this game. We fully expected that. They didn't arrive here until Tuesday. I thought that was far too late, and I think they paid the price.
Mike Forshaw's just back on. He's replaced Kevin Sinfield. Richard Horne is there. Good ball to Farrell. Farrell then to Sculthorpe, but he's dropped it.
From the eyes and knock on, no advantage.
Oh, he won't be pleased with that, David Waite. Really, when they were in the middle of the field of the park, they've got to get the ball down.
Mistakes from Great Britain have been at a minimum.
Yep.
But that could be a very critical one, because the Australians have head and feet are right on halfway here. And in possession with Barrett. Here now is Gidley. Good defence from Keith Senior.
Well,
Barrett off the deck to McDougall. Senior again.
Australia realise that they can't just keep banging down the middle with the forwards. And the key factor on that try to Johns was the ability of the combination of the two halfbacks. Skirt the ball out wide as quickly as possible.
Here's Kearns up the middle again, though. Farrell there, and also Chris Joint. Badiris could run from dummy half. Back on the inside it goes. Forced the error. Britain have it back with Senior. It was good work there by Farrell. Did he get a little hand to it, though? The Aussies just claiming, I think, that could have been a knock-on against Great Britain.
Well, that's amazing. That's one of the first runs we've seen from the hooker, Badiris. So it just shows you that the confidence is now just creeping back into this green and gold outfit.
Forshaw to Sculthorpe, a drop of the shoulder. Kennedy, though, wouldn't be fooled by that.
And you can see that the Australian defence is tightened up. Remember, there were 16 missed tackles in that first half.
Confident little run from Richard Horne. They're trying to slow them down here. Here's Farrell. Showed the ball, took Badiris on, still going Farrell. 20 metres away, last tackle.
I'd go for the one-pointer again.
Forshaw's there. Here's Richard Horne. Hoists the kick out wide. But after it, well diffused though by McDougall.
Yeah, he's been around too long as the winger McDougall there picked it off well.
And here he is again. Oh, and the referee's involved again. Ran straight at the referee there, McDougall.
Well, I think he's got 2 marks, hasn't he? Robert Connolly, he's done 2 tackles, one on Anderson.
He certainly brought him down in the earlier incident. Big hit on Andrew Johns. There's obviously the skill aplenty there, though, in the shape of Johns to turn this match yet.
Well, they're getting far more possession now of the Australians.
And the crowd ominously quiet for the first time in this match. Gidley's away. Got it to McDougall. Radlinski's through him. And he's up. Now then, this is an obvious decision, I think, for the video ref. The British supporters behind the post are claiming that McDougall's dropped this. McDougall is celebrating. He was under pressure from Stuart Fielden. The ball bounced, but did he get downward pressure? That's what the video ref has to ask himself.
Yeah, I think it's all right.
No problem.
No problem with that. But what a wonderful pass by the centre, Matthew Gidley. Sensational effort from the centre to get McDougall away. Not the best attempt by Radlinski. And we're into that final quarter, the hoodoo. That has been a problem for the Great Britain sides in the past. Will it strike yet again? Watch the pass from the centre here. Oh, that is superb play. Not the best from the full-back. They tried hard. This is out of the top drawer. Skill factor there. It sucked Johnson in off the wing. Gave the winger the opportunity. He made no mistake.
So this is a crucial kick for Andrew Johns. This to get it back to 1 point between Australia and Great Britain in this first test. Oh, he's drifted it across the top of the bar beautifully.
Battle there.
Long time. The match can easily be won here.
But it's amazing, you go back, Eddie, that mistake from Paul Sculthorpe when he lost the ball, it gave Australia the possession. And
he's stolen it there. Sculthorpe has stolen it from Carlo.
Well, he's squared it now, hasn't he? And he's gone looking.
McDermott! Rampaging run! Rampaging run! Quick play the ball! Horne! Senior!
Great defence, though, from Gidley. Super tackle then.
This is Joint. Just lost his way briefly, but still going Joint bravely to within 3 metres of the line. Forshaw. Here's Farrell drifting the kick through for Sculthorpe.
Oh, it's still around.
It's there.
Takiri got it.
Well,
he got his hand first.
Have a look at that, Dave.
Takiri has saved the day for Australia.
Well, this is an enormous call.
Let's see if it's not.
He didn't look the best of kicks, and then it just popped up. Sculthorpe missed it, then it went back from Lockyer, and it went back again, and then Takiri. He just grounds it, just in time. It's bubbling all over. No doubt about it, Takiri has saved the day. But boy, oh boy, the green and gold, they were holding their breath then. It bounced all over the place. Sculthorpe missed it completely. And this will be the dropout underneath the post. More pressure.
David Campbell is today's match video referee. Does he agree with you? He does. A goal line dropout it is. And again the ball skimming its way towards Leon Price on that far side of the field. Price spinning away but can't get away from all the tacklers and Carlaw there.
But what a wonderful substitution by David Waite.
O'Connor
to bring on Barry McDermott yet again. He made a wonderful 30-metre charge.
Forshaw, here he is again, the big man. Couldn't get the ball away. Forshaw to Richard Horne. Paul Sculthorpe attacking that line again. Fittler doing well. Here is Connolly. Now it's with Farrell. A stab through and into the arms of Kennedy off the boot of an Australian.
Well, the right tactics, the kick from Andy Farrell. But he was flicked up there. Good work from Badiris. Just got a foot to it in the end.
Well, these are nail-biting times. I'm sure you watching at home can feel the tension as much as we are here, and I bet in Australia they are roaring the green and golds on here on Channel 9. And there is David Waite, who knows that this is a highly, highly critical period of the match.
Well, with defence like that, perhaps we can just hang in there, but there's still plenty of time to go.
He's gone for the 40-20 as Barrett, but it's sliced off the outside of the boot, and Radlinski was underneath it. Now he's got plenty of room ahead of him. Oh, what a great tackle from Barrett.
He felt that as well, did the full-back. That was a real bone cruncher.
And this is Johnson.
The green and gold, they've got a sniff of it now, just 1 point adrift.
Richard Horne so far let nobody down, the young 19-year-old. Here is O'Connor.
Now then, the kick and chase has got to be good.
Oh, I think he's got that wrong. I think he's got that wrong, the referee. I really do. That came off a foot, I'm sure.
No advantage, Australia head of ball.
Well, you can see that it was just popping through. Well, that went backward for mine.
It came off the leg, but he's saying that Mike Forshaw got a finger to it. And that's questionable.
Big call there by Robert Connolly. He's not impressed, Forshaw.
It's a huge call. Oh, I tell you what, he's got it right.
Yeah, from that angle. This is a big scrum for Great Britain.
Time's off, boys, time's off.
Well, it was a big call from Bob Connolly, who took a lot of flack in the week leading up to this. And he has been as fair-minded as anybody could possibly wish for, Australian or British.
Well, to be fair, I mean, Terry O'Connor was complaining to Robert Connolly, the official, saying that Stevens actually flipped the ball away when there was more than one man in the tackle. And look, you're not allowed to do that. That should have been a penalty. The official has missed that.
Well, he's missed that. He was looking for the offload and he got that right. But here is Jason Stevens, the villain of the piece. Still has a date with the disciplinary committee later this week. Johns gives it air, finds Carlaw, and that's great defence from Senior. Took a bang in the face for his pains. Kennedy, Cairns, driving it in, and driven into the ground by the props, O'Connor and McDermott.
You've got to be careful now that Johns...
Oh, there's Lockyer! That's terrific stuff from Richard Horne and Gary Connolly and Paul Sculthorpe.
It looked like there was a huge gap there, but it quickly closed. It looked for all the world that the full-back Lockyer was on his way to the try line.
Oh, Gary Connolly came from nowhere then. Saved British bacon.
He sure did. Another stride and Lockyer would have been through.
Clear, hands away, no penalties.
Well, they have put in such an effort, Great Britain. But Australia have, as we said at half-time, like the true world champions they are, have come back off the ropes. And this is the last tackle. It's a vital kick here.
It's got to be deep.
From Sculthorpe. He's tried to get it behind Lottie Takiri. That won't run deep. Takiri will have to run this ball back, and the British chase has to be good. And they're allowing Takiri to get up back in the steam. Well done. Well, they're trying to force him over the try line. It's just the right side from an Australian point of view.
To be fair, they should have been penalised, Great Britain there. But what on earth was Takiri doing? He's a very casual style, hasn't he, the winger? He's on a Sunday afternoon stroll at one point.
Oh, a little drop of the shoulders from Barrett, and Barrett is away, and he's waiting for the support which will arrive from McDougall, and that's a great tackle from Johnson. But Britain is stretched in defence. Here's the substitute now, Anasta, and Britain's defence is Marshall, but it's with McDougall. McDougall then to Badiris, and Sculthorpe gets to him on the last.
Will Australia go for the 1 point?
I think they're looking for more, and they are. This is Fittler. They've missed him. Forward pass. Jason Stevens passes forward. Takiri has touched down. The pass from Stevens is forward. The referee blew the moment the ball left the prop forward's hands.
The pass before.
That's a big call by Robert Connolly. They went for the power play, did the Aussies. Oh, I'm not so sure. This is the one that he pulled them for.
Well,
it's a 50-50, that, Eddie. And maybe that was even more forward than the one that he actually blew up for. Well, the villain of the piece, Stevens. And that was a big call by the official.
Yes,
you could see that Chris Anderson not too impressed.
Yes,
to be fair, it looked 50-50, Eddie.
Well, I'm with you. I think the second one, from our angle anyway, looked more questionable than the first.
Either way,
blown for the first.
Doesn't matter. They've still got that 1 point advantage.
Oh. Well, 10 minutes, 9 minutes to go, and everybody in this stadium, and I'm sure watching at home, counting down. But Sculthorpe's kick, and Britain have to chase this down because it's with McDougall.
Well, the most important factor about that he split the fullback and the winger. And that allows those extra seconds just to get your defence sorted out.
Well, a big effort needed now from both sides. Here's Sivanasiva. Connolly got to him. Beg your pardon, it's Lottie Takiri. Sivanasiva's there with it now.
Good defence though by Connolly, it had to be.
Here's Dane Carlaw. Joint got to him, and so did McDermott. Now then, Johns. Back it goes to Lockyer. Australia keeping this ball alive. Carlaw gets it away to Fittler. Oh, and that's forward. That was forward.
No doubt about that.
Jamie Lyon's pass, that was forward.
Yep. He looks absolutely mystified. And you can see quite clearly that Takiri had to lean forward for that. But what a talent this youngster is, Jamie Lyon. He really has impressed me. A pretty good season. And he's a little bit confused, but I think even the most ardent green and gold fan would have had to agree that that was forward to the winger Takiri.
Well, the tension here is, well, you could cut this atmosphere with a knife.
I'm a nervous wreck.
Oh, can they hang on? Can they, never mind hang on, can they capitalise?
Well, they're finding it difficult to get over that advantage line. They were doing that with ease in the first half, and full credit to the Aussies. That's a good break, though. Oh, great defence.
Super defence from McDougall on senior.
He read it ever so well, did McDougall.
Foreshore to Fielden. Fielden, 10 metres inside the Australian half, that's all. Foreshore. Here's O'Connor. Connor will drive it at Badiris. Badiris and Fittler bring him down. It's with Farrell. He'll surely just drill this to touch, and does.
Yep. He's the key, and David Waite knows it. Chris Anderson knows also that it's the timepiece that could be his biggest enemy. Every vital second just ticking away.
But Britain haven't got the cushion, have they? They've got a 1-point advantage. That is all.
Well, this is where Australia, they're so lethal, deep from within their own quarter.
Now then, it's with Barrett. It's with Lockyer. This fellow is so dangerous.
Oh, he's lost it.
Terrific tackle on him. Sinfield has it, and Takiri has Sinfield.
What a tackle by Ruglinski on his opposite yet again. Lockyer dislodged the football. That could be the ball game. This is where Britain now have to control things. Don't do anything stupid. Just play out the 6.
Joint. Senior. Time for someone to stand up and be a hero in the British jersey. Forshaw. Forshaw still. Richard Horne. Wide it goes to Sinfield, and he dropped it.
Me today. Oh, he hasn't given it. He said he went back. Oh, no, the touch.
He's given it now.
Well, for one moment there, and you can see there that David Waite is not displeased with the referee, I can assure you, but he will be displeased by the fact that Sculthorpe knocked on. It wasn't the best pass from Horne, to be fair. And Sinfield there definitely knocked on.
Well, there is a break in play because Terry O'Connor is taking some more running repairs before he gets into this front row. And we've just got 5 minutes remaining. Oh, dangerous, dangerous time. They've lost it again. He's lost it again. That's Jamie Ryan.
He deliberately reached it out. That was Sculthorpe. He did that deliberately. That was a wonderful effort there from the standoff.
Forshaw, Sculthorpe again. Sculthorpe to Fielden.
Oh, swinging arm
from Sivanasiva, but they keep it alive with Horne. Horne skirting round. Oh, and Fittler's after him, and Fittler could have been penalised. Price to Sinfield.
Oh, nice and easy.
Now, when they get to the last, it's just a little kick into the in-goal area. That's what they need.
Sculthorpe! He's over!
He has won it for them.
Sculthorpe's over the line! Try is given! What a season Paul Sculthorpe has had! The stuff of dreams! Sculthorpe with a try in each half and a drop goal! And has Paul Sculthorpe just won this first test for Great Britain? Try convincing him he hasn't. Try convincing over 20,000 in here that he hasn't. And try convincing them that he hasn't. Sculthorpe with the try.
Magnificent effort. He's had a magnificent game too. And it was that man that stole the football when Australia were fighting to get upfield. He took a huge gamble, he reefed the ball away, it went backwards, and then he pops up with try number 2. Magnificent effort.
Well, they're looking up at the big clock to see how much time is left, and there ain't much.
It's all over. They won't come back twice, I can assure you of that.
Well, it's a 7-point gap.
That's what I'm saying. They won't come back. They may come back and get a try and maybe get the conversion. And Andrew Farrell will take his time with this one.
Well, Sculthorpe, he has had a season that he could only have dreamt about as Farrell adds the extras. It's 1912. And it's 1990 all over again, because it was 1912 in the first test 11 years ago. Great Britain went on to forfeit the Ashes, but there is a steely will and a steely determination in this British side now.
Well, there'll be a lot of controversy about the 2 forward passes that Australia were denied from scoring a try at a time when it looked as though they were taking control of the game. There'll definitely be a talking point after this match, but let's not take anything away from the British effort.
2 years and 12 matches since Australia's green and gold colours were last lowered. And listen to the McAlpine Stadium rise to this team. They're not done yet. Johnson
must say McDougall has worked overtime in defence.
Here's Farrell. He'll drift the kick to the in-goal area. He diffused it, did Lottie Takiri. Great Britain will line up in defence. Here comes Takiri now. Oh, he tried to chip over the top. He tried to chip the British defence, and Sinfield will plough it back at them.
Well, they had to take the gamble, didn't they? And Sinfield slowly gets to his feet. It's up the jumper time now, boys.
Remember, in this Great Britain side, no Long, Martin, Cunningham, Newton, Lowes, Tony Smith or Adrian Morley, all out injured.
And no recognised hooker and no recognised halfback.
And everybody was writing them off before this match.
11-1 on was the Australians. And Andy Farrell got a little short left.
Another drop goal from Sculthorpe, who adds another point to his personal portfolio. And Great Britain have won it now. Chris Anderson knows it's all over. And Paul Sculthorpe, well, it's been a virtuoso display in a wonderful team effort from David Waite's British Lions.
And that word, team effort, Team Eddie, you've got it right, because that's what the British boys have done. They went down to Spain, a little bit of sun on their backs. The preparation, and full credit to the coach, David Waite. He had his critics. A lot of people here said it was a disgrace to bring a foreigner. But when you come up with a win like this, you have got to stand up and praise this fella.
And let's not forget the fellow who's alongside him either. Brian Noble, Bradford Bulls coach.
Yep.
He's British through and through. And David Waite, well, he's going to be an honorary Palm after this.
Well, he doesn't say much, as you say, Eddie. David Waite, and I can assure you that after the game he'll probably say, yeah, we've got one, but we've still got work to do. And
yes.
He knows it. He knows that these Australians won't lie down.
But this Test series, this Guinness Test series in 2001 is alive. And Great Britain are just 10 seconds away from a famous victory. Doesn't matter that Paul Sculthorpe hoofed that out on the full. There's the hero of the hour, David Waite. There's the beaten coach, Chris Anderson. Great Britain have won it! What an effort! What a magnificent effort! And now they have to build on this and take it on to Bolton and take it on to Wigan. Over the next 2 weeks, the Ashes will be won and lost. But Great Britain have given this series the most incredible lift. And no one dare say now that this game is dying. Great Britain have given the game and the country the lift that they deserve. Magnificent. The only word to describe it. Let's get down and amongst the players. There's the captain, courageous. He's with Bill.
Andy, you've known some harsh moments at the hands of the Australians. Must be very, very sweet today.
Yeah, it's very sweet, you know. Our aim is to win an Ashes series, you know. It's not been done since 1970, so we're one step of the way there. We're not there yet, but we'll take a lot out of this game, you know. We'll move on to the next one.
What do you think the key was to today's victory?
Our defence worked so hard, you know. We controlled the ball really well in certain areas, but as I said, there's still a lot of improvement to do, and we'll need that to win the series. But absolutely delighted with the performance and one up.
Thanks, Andy. Let's move alongside you to the man of the match. Paul, congratulations. I'll get it the right way up. There you go. What a match for you personally.
Yeah, it was a good performance. You know, we've not played for probably 5 weeks. It was nice to get a good performance under the belt. You know, like Faz said, that's 1 of 3. You know, if we don't win the next 2, it's pointless.
What do you think, though, was the difference today? I mean, you've been in this position against the Aussies before and haven't managed to put them away. What made the difference on this occasion?
I think we was mentally prepared. You know, a lot of people say that Great Britain are beat before they go out on the field against the Aussies, and we certainly weren't. You know, we know we've got the ability to win the game, and we've proved it. You know, but like I said, we'll take all the positives. You know, and we'll learn from the things we did wrong. But like I said, that's 1 of 3.
But you must be anticipating a big comeback from them next time out.
Oh yeah, they'll be fired up. You know, they'll be looking to square it. But you know, we'll be looking to kick on them and win the second.
Just personally, this year for you just keeps getting better and better, doesn't it?
Yeah, 1 more game, we'll cap it.
Thanks, Paul. Well done.
Cheers, Bill.
Well, don't bet against him. because if you remember 12 months ago, Paul Sculthorpe was in the wreckage that was the England World Cup semi-final team that were hammered by the Kiwis. Today, he has come to the McAlpine Stadium and he has played his full part in a truly memorable win. 2 tries, 2 drop goals. Kevin Sinfield's played one of the games of his life as well, but they've both made the point.
At the special time, 10 o'clock tonight on NBN, Australia's own Harry Kewell.
It's another one for Kewell.
The power, the passion, the precision, the hottest comedy in world soccer on the Ray Martin Show, 10 o'clock tonight.
Spanline's Springtime Home Edition inspirations will create new lifestyle options for you and your family. Enjoy new outdoor living standards protected and sheltered with an exclusive Spanline creation. Custom designed to perfectly complement your home and your lifestyle. Design options are limited only by the imagination. Contact Spanline now to ensure you'll be enjoying Christmas under your new Spanline Ultimate Lifestyle Home Edition.
If it's expert advice or the right price, we've got it. To keep it clean or watch the big screen, we've got it. If your wife is sound, it's all around, we've got it. To feel that breeze or a fish to freeze, we've got it. The only decision, Retrovision. The only decision, Retrovision. We've got it.
I know a place where we can go to relax and get away. There's a friendly smile, new friends to meet, and the kids have fun and play. Jules Tavern, with your family and friends. Relax and get away down to Jules Tavern, with your family and friends.
Add a new look to your home with a custom-made fence. Custom Fences and Gates provide quality decorative picket, pool, garden and security fences, adding security and value to your home or business. Custom Fences are the steel fencing specialist, manufactured to the highest standards using premium galvanized steel, especially bronze welded and powder coated for maximum protection. For quality, durability and price, deal direct with the manufacturer. Call now, 1-800-887-887. Custom Fences, servicing your area. Don't compromise. Insist on a custom fence.
I enjoyed portraying Elvis as a character. I want to do that type of a show.
The Elvis legend lives on. Mario Maiolo presents direct from America, Elvis to the Max. Don't miss Elvis to the Max in concert. Appearing November 15 at the Doyleson YERSL. Book now to avoid disappointment. On Surprise, Surprise, a performance Julie Anthony will never forget.
What is this?
Plus, Steve Izard, Larry Emder, and What's Up with Katrina Roundtree. Surprise, surprise, 7:30 Tuesday on NBN.
The Great Britain Rugby League team had set this year's Ashes series alight with a 20-12 victory over Australia. It was a gutsy win with Peacock grabbing a 4-pointer. Paul Sculthorpe got 2 tries. Andy Farrell kicked 3 from 4. Sculthorpe also contributed 2 field goals off the Aussies. Johns and McDougall got across the line. Andrew Johns kicking 2 from 2. In a performance, Phil Gould, that I hope we don't hear underprepared jet lag. They were beaten on their merits by a very, very committed Great Britain team.
They certainly were. I mean, Great Britain came with marching orders today. They had a real plan. David Waite had obviously known a lot about the Australian players and said, well, if we stick to this plan, we're prepared to do it for 80 minutes, we can work them over and tire them out. As Paul Sculthorpe says after the game, they hadn't played for 5 or 6 weeks themselves, exactly. So there were a lot of underprepared physically English players as well. The difference between the two teams is that Great Britain as a team were better prepared. They had marching orders. Australia, a lot of unforced errors. That comes about when you haven't got a plan going into the game. And I just think their preparation was probably limited, but certainly with the class and experience of players in the side, they should have come up with better than they did tonight.
To add merit to the victory, though, going into this series, no Kieran Cunningham, the hooker, who is world-class. Sean Long, of course, Yeston Harris went to rugby union, so some big names missing. Gary Connolly, who has been around a long time, some of his defence tonight was that telling. It was he was playing for Canterbury 10, 11 years ago. He's still in his prime.
Yeah, well, he's in his 30s now, but his defence really closed Australia down a couple of times out there when opportunities looked likely. Midway through to the late in that second half, it looked as though Australia might get a win. But too many unforced errors, and England, with backs to the wall defence, much better organised defence than what I've seen from them in the past. David Waite, they knew when to come up and in, they knew when to slide. Their marker defence was very good, and there just weren't enough opportunities for the Australian team. As we said at half-time, the Australians' very flat style of play gave them limited opportunities and asked very limited questions of the English defence. So they've got to go back and reassess that for the next test next weekend.
How does Chris Anderson react to this? He's developed this tick all of a sudden. He looked very nervous up there at times. Of course, it's a shortened touring party, just the 21 players over there. What do you think Chris Anderson will do?
I think backing up quickly, there's 3 tests in 13 days over there. I think that will suit the Australians. It'll be very hard for England to come down from this win where Australia will now steel themselves. I think Chris Anderson walking down to the dressing room probably knows, yes, we went in underprepared, more underprepared than we should have been. You know, it was always going to be a difficult task, therefore there was some real basic ingredients in our football we had to get right, and we didn't. Our kicking game was poor, our yardage game was poor, our marker defence was poor, and they're things in representative football you've got to get in order straight away. Despite the number of ball players we had in the team, we never really gave ourselves an opportunity to use them. So he will go down there now and say, okay, it was a difficult assignment, but we could have done it better, and I think they will in the next 7 days.
Well, there were plenty of critics who thought this would be another cakewalk for the Australians. It's been proven this morning that is not the case. Time now to get a couple of hours sleep because we've got some fantastic sport still to come your way. Later on this morning, of course, the final day of the first cricket test between Australia and New Zealand. That's from the Gabba up in Brisbane. Live coverage commencing at 10:28 a.m. And then tonight, the first of 7 nights of fantastic tennis. Top of the 8 of the world's top tennis players involved in the Tennis Masters Cup from the Sydney Superdome. The 2 Aussies in action tonight. Leighton Hewitt up against Grosjean. Pat Rafter takes on Andre Agassi. You will see that live from 7 o'clock. And next weekend, the second Rugby League test between the Australian and Great Britain teams from the Reebok Stadium in Bolton. That is Sunday, the 18th of November. A little bit more user-friendly this coverage time, 5:50 a.m. We will see the second Rugby League test. Of course, the Lions hoping to wrap it up. The Aussies looking to get back into it. Phil, I don't mind getting up early to watch games like that.
We're going to wait here for next week's game. I can't wait now because that was no fluke tonight. Great Britain were terrific and they've drawn a line in the sand. Australia are going to have to really train well in the next week to get out of this.
Well, thanks for your company on what has been a pretty ordinary weekend for Australia's rugby codes. Of course, the Wallabies beaten yesterday. Today, the Kangaroos have gone down by 8 points to the Great Britain Lions, 20 points to 12. Thank you for your company. We'll do it again soon. But for now, on behalf of the Channel 9 Rugby League crew, it is bye for now.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sport.